got some West Ham news. We got some West Ham gossip. Not a lot of gossip, more news than gossip, actually. It's just been that sort of week, really, hasn't it? Just a lot of West Ham bits and pieces. Actually, I say West Ham bits and pieces. Tell you what we do have, it's really good. Later on in this video, I've got a clip of my interview with a former West Ham scout, which actually went up live over the last 2 or 3 days on Patreon. And what our patrons got a chance to do was basically we did a live Q&A. So our patrons got to ask questions to the former West Ham scout, basically. How does it work? How does scouting work at West Ham? How do you scout? How do you identify players? What should West Ham be doing looking forwards? And that's on our Patreon channel. If you don't know what the Patreon channel is, check it out. It's in the link below. It's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. It's patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Basically, it's a little Hammers Chat subscription service. You still get all this stuff on here for free, but if you'd like to help support the channel, basically help us do what we're doing full time, then you pay us a subscription. Basically, you get some free content, some additional content, and this was part of that, and lots of other perks as well. I'll play you a clip from that later on. However, there's quite a lot going on. I tell you what, before we get onto the news, the tickets went on sale yesterday. And when I say the tickets for the Frankfurt game, the home leg, my word, were you part of that? Were you on the queuing system? I've got to say, I think the actual ticketing system itself, for me at least, worked really well. I mean, it really did. Basically, we got to a point, we got to 4 p.m. yesterday, and season ticket holders like myself were able to purchase additional tickets. Now, before it was an additional 4 tickets. This time, season ticket holders were able to purchase additional 2 tickets. So I know this sounds boring, but there's reason behind me talking about this because Frankfurt fans bought up loads of tickets for Barcelona, for the Barcelona game. Did you see them? They basically, I think they had 30,000 fans inside the Nou Camp, which was sort of unprecedented, really. And Barcelona certainly weren't happy about that at all. So what they did was they cut down the allocation, West Ham, but it was really good because obviously I've got a season ticket, so's my son. I was able to get a ticket from the old man, which is, really good for, really good for all of us, really, because he can drive, which is excellent, which means I can have a drink. Not that I tend to drink at football matches, you understand. Anyway, so that's really good, but they sold out really quickly. I think at one point, looked at the queue, there were 13,000 people in the queue. Wonder how many West Ham could have sold out. Certainly wouldn't have a problem once I think it's full capacity, the stadium, once all the safety certificates are done. It'll be 66. I think European nights, we get 66 in there. How many of them were Frankfurt fans? I don't know. But the club are at pains to stress that you're going to be in trouble if you sell any tickets to any Frankfurt fans. To be honest with you, I can't imagine any West Ham fan giving up their tickets to a Frankfurt fan. I just hope some of them haven't managed to sneak in and get tickets, because I think what might have happened was, I've certainly heard a rumour that the club allowed people on the season ticket waiting list to buy tickets from 4 o'clock as well. I think if you paid £10, you're on the season ticket waiting list. So there was a route to get a ticket. I didn't want to talk about it publicly before they had a chance to get a ticket. But all sold out now. Should be quite an occasion, that's for sure. And, obviously, I'm going and I'm very, very happy. But I was so nervous, sort of waiting in the online queue, thinking, am I going to get a ticket? Anyway. My son will be pleased. Granddad's pleased. Yeah, everyone's happy in this family. Well, actually, apart from my daughter, but we won't. Shh. I won't tell her if you don't. Certainly. Part of the news, average news really, is that the former River Plate president, Rodolfo Dionafario. Ooh, I think I've got it right. There you go. He said that last season, Manuel Lanzini wanted to come back, and he said he expects it to happen sooner rather than later. We know this. I think from the moment Lanzini, he's never hidden this, from the moment Lanzini arrived at West Ham, he said what he wants to do is finish his career in Argentina. We know this. When COVID was going on, we knew he really wanted to be back in Argentina. He couldn't fly home for quite a while. I don't think this is any surprise at all. I would like to think that we can keep hold of him for a bit longer, because he is an important part of the squad, and it's one area we don't have to deal with. We already mentioned in yesterday's video that there were quite a few positions that needed covering at West Ham, and we spoke about striker, left-back, centre-back, central midfield. The last thing we need is to have to get an attacking midfielder as well. But his contract is up. He's got the rest of this season and next one. This article that I'm reading as well, by the way, is from Caught Offside, but it is on the OneFootball app. It's saying, maybe we'd look to bring in a fee. I don't think River Plate aren't looking to buy Manuel Lanzini. They don't have to. They will just take him on a free when his contract expires. And I think he's been a good servant for the club. And I don't think we paid less than 10 million for him. I seem to have a figure of 8 million in my mind. I might be wrong. I'm not the best at remembering numbers, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean that would be a shame, but it's up there. Another player that's looking to say he'll leave is Yarmolenko. It's pretty much confirmed he's not been offered a new contract by West Ham. Before I go any further, all of these articles are on the One Football app, which you can download by clicking the link below. Different to the Patreon link, lots of links below. Basically, what you do is you download the app to your phone. It's free. Use the QR code up there to scan it in if you wish. When you open it up, when you download it, it says, who are your team? What team do you support? You click West Ham. What it does, it grabs all of the stories from the internet, all the generic Premier League sites, all the newspapers, puts them all into one place and delivers them to your phone in a package. Just basically in a West Ham section. Really, really good app. Great sponsors of the channel. We thank them very much. Use the link below to download it, please. So Yarmolenko's basically said there's a 95% chance he's leaving West Ham. I would suggest it's 100%. The only thing I was, as you know, because I mentioned on this channel before, was concerned about was, he may well need a work visa to stay in this country. It appears that's not the case. If he wants to stay here, he can stay here. He's clearly got plenty of money because he's earned a load of money at West Ham recently, so that's fine. A few clubs are interested. I think always Galatasaray. Galatasaray are always interested in anyone that's about to end their career at West Ham. Or Besiktas. That's what they always say. That's easy for me to say. Anyway, he's got options. 95%, I think it's 100% he won't be at West Ham next season. And let's be honest, if what we want to do is progress forward, then we've got to cut loose some of these players, and he would certainly be one of them. But I would not put him in the same category as Manuel Lanzini, that's for sure. Lanzini, I would certainly like to keep hold of. And there's lots of talk about us being in for Pope. The 10 million, apparently they're saying for Areola, it's 10 million to secure the deal. Or, and this is the really weird one, we can get him back on loan again. I think that would be a really good deal. I don't know how we could swing that. Again, I mentioned yesterday, if we do have 150 million, and let's hope that we do we really want to be spending 10 of that on a goalkeeper? Well, no, not if it's the same goalkeeper that we could get for another year for free and therefore defer the payment. I think that would be the sensible move. Pope, well, he was excellent, wasn't he, against us? A great shot stopper. I know there's question marks about his distribution, but I certainly think for next season, Fabianski be a year older, then it would certainly, both Areola and Pope would probably represent better options at the back than us. There's loads of us being linked with a number of players. I think we'll deal with those in another video, rather than deal with that. It's more about the players that will be departing West Ham, like Yarmolenko, Lanzini, hopefully not. Fredericks' contract is up as well, by the way. There's a number of players leaving, that's for sure. Krau, Noble, we know for definite. So, there's things happening. There's going to be a big shake-up at West Ham. What I'm going to leave you with now is what I promised you earlier on, which is from my interview with Jed, who's the former West Ham scout, Premier League scout. He's now doing international scouting. Heavily did a lot of heavy tactical scouting in the African Cup of Nations. Really interesting talking to him. Here's just a little snippet of when people were asking questions about how managers identify different players and how they send scouts out to basically take a look at the opposition. And what I found really interesting about this particular snippet was, if I take you back to the story when David Moyes came in, he had to rebuild the scouting department. Now, Jed was a scout under Sam Allardyce, and here's what's interesting about this clip. It is that clearly there was a scouting system in place under Allardyce, because he gives a quite detailed explanation of how, whilst he was doing opposition scouting, so basically West Ham's next game is Chelsea, for example, if he was doing that for West Ham, what they would do is they would go and take all of the data and all of the observations from scouting Chelsea for a few weeks before the game, and then they would do the team scouting, do individual scouting, and then each individual player would have a dossier, which would then go into a dossier in terms of if we wanted to purchase them. Have a listen to what he says. But when you do, just have a think in your mind quite how much that got deconstructed. We clearly did have quite a detailed, and Sam Allardyce, for his faults, and it wasn't everyone's cup of tea, he did always have a big backroom team. He did like to embrace sports science and that sort of thing. And I just find it amazing how we had this structure in place, but it got broken down. And I don't want to point fingers, but somehow over the time of Bilic and Pellegrini, it got broken down into nothing, where literally there wasn't a scouting department, it wasn't a dossier, there was nothing. Apparently, when Pellegrini left and Husilos left, there was a file, there was like, I don't know, like a suitcase, a briefcase, that went with them. There was nothing there. We had one scout. Anyway, I just found it amazing. Thank you very much to Jed for this. Go and check it out on Patreon if you want to go and sign up to Patreon from as little as £3.50 a month. Patreon.com/HammersChat. I'll catch up with you tomorrow.
My main job again on a Sunday would be probably writing up a report I wrote on a Saturday, and that could take me anything from maybe 12 hours to write from the end of the match. There'll be about 38 pages long of diagrams as well. So that's what
38 pages long.
Yeah.
On the opposition.
Yeah.
And you draw pictures.
All pictures on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wouldn't be literature. It was diagrams. If you write it, you've got to draw it, and that's the rule.
So basically, you are drawing tactics.
Yeah. So you
okay. That's really interesting. So I do think it's really important, bearing in mind everything we discussed, to differentiate between the scouting that is involved in scouting to unearth a player and then your tactical scout.
It's two different things completely.
Yeah.
You said it before. So when I came to West Ham, I was an opposition scout. That was my role. But when you're doing that, we still scout with 11 players and the subs as well, and we would also look at the opposition as well. But I would still do 11 scout reports. Those same reports that we did for the tactical report would also go into the database when we checked out a player's name. So if we played against Liverpool, say, for example, or Newcastle up Liverpool, say, and obviously when we played and say Andy Carroll was playing, obviously when we went to look at maybe signed Andy Carroll, that little comment would also be on that report as well. It was all followed through. So it all come through, and that's when I was there. Then I started to get asked, "Would you go and do some more player reports for us?" Fine. That's what I was. That sort of came later for me, but tactical scouting was always my bread and butter.